Lord showed Ezekiel this house in a vision. He showed him, all the intricacies about this house, measurements and all of that. So now this is what we're reading about here. In fact, when you start at the 40th chapter of Ezekiel, all the way through the 48th chapter, it's dealing with the Lord returning and dwelling on this earth, even in Jerusalem. Start reading at chapter 43 and verse 1. Go ahead and read.
Afterward, he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh toward the east. And behold, the glory of the God of Israel came from the way of the east, and his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory.
And let you know the Lord is on the earth, because it said the earth shine with his glory at this time. So God is truly on this earth at this time. The earth shine with his glory. Go ahead and read on.
And it was according to the appearance of the vision which I saw, even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the vision that I saw by the river Chebar, and I fell upon my face. And the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate, whose prospect is toward the east.
And it's the house that the Lord said he's going to build in Jerusalem here.
That's right.
So now he said the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of prospect who's toward the east. Go ahead and read on.
So the Spirit took me up and brought me to the inner court.
Go ahead.
And behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house. And I heard him speaking unto me out of the house.
Now he said the glory of the Lord filled the house. And he said, I heard him speaking unto me out of the house. Go ahead and read.
And the man stood by me. And he said unto me,
Go ahead.
Son of man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet.
Look at what it said, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet. Where is his throne at? His throne is in Jerusalem, isn't it?
That's right.
That's how I know this is Jerusalem. He said he's going to sit up on the throne of David even forever.
That's right.
So now the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet. Go ahead and read.
Well, I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
Well, I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. Go ahead and read on.
And my holy name shall the house of Israel no more defile, neither they nor their kings by their whoredom, nor by the carcasses of their kings in their high places.
Go ahead.
And their setting of their threshold by my threshold.
Everybody understand what a threshold is, right? He said the setting of their threshold by my threshold. Because he said I'm going to dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. So their threshold will be by his threshold. Go ahead, read.
And their post by my post.
Go ahead.
And the wall between me and them, they have even defiled my holy name by the abominations that they have committed. Wherefore I have consumed them in mine anger.
Now, let's go over to Ezekiel chapter 47. And we'll begin reading at verse 1. Because as I said earlier, it is not just about Israel.
That's right.
Let's start reading at Ezekiel 47. And we'll begin reading at verse 21. Ezekiel 47. And we'll pick it up at verse 21. 47 and 21. Okay, go ahead and read.
So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel.
Now the Lord is talking about divvying up the land here, because every tribe, they all going to have their own plot. Right. Just like when the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt, every tribe had their own plot. Judah had this area, and then Benjamin had, everybody had their own area. Every tribe had their own area. So now here the Lord is returning, and he's going to dwell in the midst of Israel. Now he's going to deal with the stranger that dwells among Israel. Start at the top of that verse again. Go ahead.
So shall ye divide this land unto you according to the tribes of Israel.
Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that ye shall divide it by lot for an inheritance unto you.
Go ahead.
And to the strangers that sojourn among you.
Now he said, divide it among Israel, and even unto the stranger that sojourn among Israel. Go ahead and read on.
Which shall begat children among you.
That will beget children among you. Go ahead and read.
And they shall be unto you as born in the country among the children of Israel.
Go ahead.
They shall have inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel.
Now he said, they will have an inheritance with you among the tribes of Israel. Go ahead and read.
And it shall come to pass that in what tribe the stranger sojourneth, there shall ye give him his inheritance, saith the Lord God.
So now when the Lord returns, he's going to dwell among Israel, but you're going to have the strangers dwelling among Israel as well. And then they're going to each get their plot among the tribe of Israel, whatever tribe they so dwell among. Let's go now to the 48th chapter and pick it up at verse 29. 48 and 29. Okay, go ahead and read.
This is the land which ye shall divide by lot unto the tribes of Israel for inheritance.
Go ahead.
And these are their portions, saith the Lord God. And these are the goings out of the city on the north side, 4,400 measures. And the gates of the city shall be after the names of the tribes of Israel.
Go ahead.
3 gates northward, one gate for Reuben, one gate for Judah, one gate for Levi. And at the east side, 4,400, and 3 gates, and one gate of Joseph, one gate of Benjamin, and one gate of Dan.
So now he just split it up. You know, he got the 12 gates here for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. Go ahead. And this was really pointing to something bigger as well. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Go ahead and read.
And at the south side, 4,500 measures, and 3 gates, one gate for Simeon, one gate for Issachar, one gate for Zebulun. At the west side, 4,400 with their 3 gates, one gate for Gad, one gate for Asher, one gate of Naphtali. It was round about 18,000 measures. And the name of the city from that day shall be, the Lord is there.
You want to say the name of the city from that day forth shall be, the Lord is there.
That's right.
So that is where the Lord is going to dwell at.
That's right.
So now he even split up the land among the 12 tribes, and even the strangers that sojourn among the 12 tribes, they will each have their portion among the tribes which they sojourn. Let's go now to Zechariah, the 14th, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. We're almost there. We got 2 more after this one. Zechariah 14, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. Zechariah 14, and we'll pick it up at verse 1. 14 and 1. Okay, go ahead and read.
Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee.
Go ahead.
For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle. And the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle.
That's Jesus that we are reading about here, because he left from the Mount of Olives, didn't he?
That's right.
And the angel said the same one you saw go up, that is the same one that you will see return.
That's right.
He left from the Mount of Olives, and that is where he will return to. Go ahead, read.
And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east.
So this mountain here that is on the east side of Jerusalem, and it is the Mount of Olives. His feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is on the east side of Jerusalem. Go ahead, read.
And the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west.
Go ahead.
And there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains, for the valley of the mountains shall reach into Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as ye fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. And the Lord my God shall come, and all the saints with thee.
So now here we have a coming on the Lord. He said he's going to come, and even all of the saints with him. And pick it up now, skip down to verse 9. It's going to tell you again where the Lord will dwell. Go ahead and read.
And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. And that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one.
Now he said the Lord will be king in that day over all of the earth, it says.
Right.
And in that day there will be one Lord, and his name one. Go ahead and read.
All the land shall be turned as the plain from Gibeah to Rimmon, south of Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
And it shall be lifted up and inhabited in her place, from Benjamin's gate until the place of the first gate, until the corner gate, and from the tower of Haniel until the king's wine presses.
Go ahead.
And men shall dwell in it, and there shall be no more utter destruction.
Now he's saying that time men going to dwell in it, and there will be no more utter destruction. Go ahead and read.
But Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited.
But and now we know that's future, that Jerusalem will be safely inhabited, right?
That's right.
But he's letting you know at that time when he returns, he's going to dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem will be safely inhabited. Let's go now to Isaiah chapter 4, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. Isaiah 4, and we will pick it up at verse 1. 4 and 1. Isaiah 4, and we'll begin at verse 1. 4 and 1. 4 and 1. Now this is dealing with when the Lord returns. That's what this 4th chapter of Isaiah is dealing with, when he returns.
That's right.
Isaiah chapter 4, and we'll begin read at verse 1. 4 and 1. Okay, go ahead and read.
And in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying,
Go ahead.
We will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach.
Go ahead.
And that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. And it shall come to pass that he that is left in Zion and he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even everyone
Now
that
we
is...
said, wait a minute. You know, after, you know, those that escaped of Israel. These are the ones that went through tribulation, the one that went through the purging in the wilderness. Okay. Now he said, and it shall come to pass that they that are left in Zion and they that remain in Jerusalem shall be called holy. Go ahead and read on.